Hi, my name is Farah Mahmud and I'll be presenting on the question 1, which is what asset that we choose for our report. So, the asset that we choose is an oil rig. An oil rig is a large structure with well drilling abilities that is used to discover, extract, transport, and process petroleum and natural gas confined in rock formations underneath the ocean. The oil rig platform may be attached to the water floor, comprised on an artificial island, or float depending on this condition. Disposing the asset entails plugging well as the total removal and separation of wires, while the rest of the platform is still left intact. After confirming that all wells are filled, materials from the platform are then transferred to a variety of locations for reuse or recycling. The remains of the structure might be disposed in a deep ocean disposal site, on the seabed near the original operation site, or recovered on land. The decommissioning of oil rig structure will be transferred to shore for recycling or disposal is referred to as onshore disposal. For question 2, the decommissioning of oil rig. Fixed asset installation necessitates physical labor and incurs specific charges known as commissioning costs for setting up and altering the landscape to set up the asset, while on the other hand, the amount a company intends to spend on disposing of an asset and reversing alterations made to the installation site is referred to as the asset retirement obligations or decommissioning costs. The company must include the present value of the estimated, the face value, future decommissioning costs in the total purchase cost of the asset under accepted accounting principles GAAP. According to Zawawi ETL, one of the major problems to decommissioning an asset is owing to a lack of legislative framework and inadequate decommissioning strategies.
So, greetings everyone. My name is Normanja Ana Frankidiria, and today I would like to share with you on my topic, which is what are the process involved in asset decommissioning or disposal of oil rig. So, according to the Kalidov, there are 5 main steps that need to be taken by the authority as well as the oil and gas company in preparation of their successful implementations. So, the first one is specify the main objective and main procedure and draft an abandonment plan. And second is develop and ensure compliance with relevant regulatory schemes for governance, financing, risk management, as well as technical mechanism. Third one is to resolve problems or organize joint campaign or create a unified communication platform for operators to exchange knowledge or experience. And next is determine the list of obligation or constraint for the decommissioning of oil and gas facility. And finally is the implementations of an effective target program must be initiated and monitored. Now let's put that aside. There are 10 processes of decommissioning an offshore oil rig as follows. So the first one is project management. This is when the initial preparation begins to ensure the decommissioning and leasing follow the agreed upon procedures. Second is planning, engineering planning. So this step involves analysis regarding the safety and the environment of the rig. Third is permitting and regulatory compliance. Just as any new building or oil and gas project, there are various legal and regulatory factors that must be settled before any work begins. Fourth is oil platform preparation. So at this point, thorough inspection and cleaning is done throughout the pipelines, tanks, equipment, and any other areas that may hold dangerous compound or drilling waste. Fifth is well plugging and abandonment. So in this step, the wellbore must be also be thoroughly cleaned in order to reduce any critical issues. Six is conductor removal. whereby a conductor pipe is removed from the oil well. 7 is the mobilizations and demobilizations of derrick barge, which is the transportations of the platform. 8 is the platform removal, where small platforms are dismantled and to be transferred into derrick barge. 9 is pipeline and cable decommissioning, which entails the cleaning of the pipeline with water. And finally, material disposal and site clearance, where every debris is removed and final inspection are complete. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hani and I'll be talking the rules regulations. There are multiple regulations when it comes to decommissioning an oil rig or an oil well. However, the regulatory framework is currently fragmented, with provisions scattered across statutes such as the Fisheries Act 1985, the Environmental Quality Act 1974, the Continental Shelf Act 1966, and the Exclusive Economic Zone Act 1984, the Petroleum Safety Measures Act 1984, and the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, among others. As a matter of fact, environmental standards for decommissioning of oil and gas installations in Malaysia have also been released by the Department of Environment. To top it off, all parts of decommissioning carried out by PSC contractors are subject to evaluation and approval by Petronas and the Malaysian government under PPGUA's abandonment review system. There are also other focuses on health, safety and environment issues, especially any debris, while decommissioning must be properly disposed, following the conclusion of all decommissioning works in accordance with the legal agreement between Petronas and the contractors. Furthermore, the International Maritime Organization (IMO) adopted some principles and standards for the removal of offshore installation. In fact, under Resolution A672, subsection 16, any abandoned or decommissioned offshore structure should be dismantled as soon as practically possible. In addition to that, an international agreement named the Basel Convention requires the hazardous waste to be handled as close to the source as possible.
Well, when decommissioning an oil rig, the process of cost estimation plays a critical role, as it can assist decision makers to have a more accurate and precise planning. The following are the estimations of the costs for several specific sections on the oil rig. The first one is well plugging and abandonment, which costs $18.7 million per structure. Next, conductor severance and removal would cost $4.4 million per structure. Pipeline decommissioning, meanwhile, would cost $4.7 million per structure. Follow up by a total of $20 million is needed for the removal of all the umbilicals and flowline segments, and $9 million for the riser removal. Lastly, for structure removal, an average of $945 million is needed to remove the water fixed platform and compliance tower inventory. And that will be it regarding the costs. Thank you.
However, as stated, there are risks that companies will face during the disposal of assets, or in this case, which is the oil rig. Now, one of the risk management that a company could do when decommissioning an oil rig is that the company should have sufficient financial management. Now, if carried out without sufficient financial management and in exclusion from other company objectives and decommissioning initiatives, disbursement plan of a decommissioning work can impose strain on the company's cash flow and become very vulnerable to time, as well as leave the company with little control. Secondly, accumulate an independent asset reserve. It's like pension obligations. Advanced funding may drastically lessen the potentially negative financial impact of decommissioning, while also providing the company with additional security and flexibility. Now, by accumulating an independent asset reserve, advanced funding can decrease both timing risk and the burden of the company's cash flow. For example, it may be feasible to shift risk for future cleanup expenses to an insurer, including a captive insurer, in exchange for a flat amount. Now, finally, any extra advanced cash may be utilized for things other than decommissioning, such as enabling an asset or building a technical improvement. That's it. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching.